Good evening, everybody, and here I am Friday night and another week has whizzed by. I'm just going to refresh the page and share. So thank you everybody for coming in, and thank you those coming in on the replay. It is Friday night. It is the 8th, Friday the 8th of June. So if you're on the replay, that might help you locate what day I am recording this, or I'm live at the moment obviously, but it will come as a replay. Hello Tristan, how are you? I think we need to do some catching up because we haven't spoken for a couple of days, and there have been some great successes going on in my part of the world, and so just let me, oh dear, what's happening to my my page is becoming unresponsive. That's really not very helpful. Hello Roxy, nice to see you. So it has been an interesting week, a bit challenging, few challenges, but nothing we can't overcome. And in fact, I've got some of my little books that I read out of on here, and I thought one of the ones that I had to read out of today is the Little Book of Resilience, because I did need some resilience this week, especially as I started the week by being very poorly on Monday. On Saturday night when I was broadcasting, I had a tickle in my throat, and I was struggling. I was finding it was a bit difficult, and that went on to develop into a interesting, Tristan. I'll let you know. Tristan just pinged me a message. Some successes here, a success here on the island, Tristan. So you might have to keep watching in to find out what it was. So anyway, yes. So I was not too bad on Sunday, and then Monday, wham, I was I'm one of these people, I'm rarely ill, so when I get ill, I know that I have to really rest and relax and recuperate. So I spent a day at home in what I call my home office, and no, don't think I'm going off to do anything with the political people, because that's not so. Hi Nathan. No, my home office is here where I work from home, and I actually just sat and got out my knitting. My knitting is very relaxing and very therapeutic. I am continually updating all of you on the knitting, the nattering and the networking. That's basically what goes on in my life these days, and so I will bring you up to speed with all the things that have been going on. So yes, it was rather difficult having a day out, because I had been tasked with finding, some of you will know this story, some of you won't. I'll apologise now if you've heard it before, but actually we have new people coming in, lots of new friends made, particularly last night, so there might be some new viewers into the broadcast. So I was tasked, I was tasked with finding 100 men for a charity event that was going on last night. I met lovely Linda Jones. It was about 2 weeks ago tomorrow. I think it was 2 weeks ago tomorrow. Whatever it was the royal wedding day. Not sure if that was 2 or 3 weeks ago. Get a bit lost in the telling. I think it might have been 3 weeks ago. Anyway, Linda was at the Riverfest, and I was live streaming, and she was dressed all in red, white and blue. And while I was live streaming, I said, oh, you look lovely, and had a conversation with her. She was a member of, just a member of the crowd just walking along, and we engaged in conversation. She put her Meghan mask on as well. Anyway, long story short, she found out that I did things on social media, and she asked for my help. Now, Linda is a member of the Medina Community Choir, and it's an award-winning choir, and they had a concert last night. But the concert was based around I don't care what the weatherman says, and so all the songs, hi Helen, all the songs last night were based on the weather. And here is the programme. And I'll tell you, oops, no, that's an advert for their next event. But I'll show you the programme. I don't care what the weatherman says. There we are. And there's lovely Claire Reese coming in. Claire was in this last night and she was responsible for getting some of the men. I know it was a real team effort. So Linda asked me if I could help because just before the interval, they were going to be singing It's Raining Men and they wanted some men to appear. If they would, possibly bare-chested. I wasn't sure whether I could find bare-chested men, but how wrong was I? And so I was tasked with finding some on social media. I know Claire knows Tori, and Tori runs the gym, and between them, they managed to get some, some men from the gym. So that was fantastic. Yes, well done. So together, it was a great team effort. There were other people working on it as well. But for me, it was a bit unfortunate because, of course, I was ill on Monday and I was sort of working hard to sort of do my bit and try and get these men. But on Monday, I was just completely wiped out. So I had to get to it on Tuesday. Fortunately, I was only poorly for one day. And then I got to it and I got on the social media, using social media for social good. As I say, the whole team, different people, Claire, Tori, Linda was out talking to people. Everybody was, out there talking and seeing if we could get more men for this event. Because the idea was that while they were singing It's Raining Men, it was going to rain men. Literally, men were going to come down the steps, across the stage, be on the stage for a few minutes and then off again and then into the bar or into the bar area and by the booking office where people were going, hi Linda, where people were going to pay donations to the prostate cancer charity in order to have their pictures taken with these men. Now, Linda got me the perfect seat. It was I think it was the best seat in the house. I'm not going to tell anybody which seat it was because if I want to go again to something, that's the seat I'm going to book. It was absolutely perfect view across. And it was an end seat. Well, that's all I'll tell you. It was an end seat. And it was just wonderful. So anyway, I'm sitting there during the performance. The performance starts at 7:30. And I'd had promises. People had promised that they'd come, and then lovely Paddy McHugh, he was helping get some people in. Then he messaged me and said some of the people had bottled out. So I thought, oh no, what's going to happen here? We'll have to see. It will be all right on the night, is what I felt. So I'm sitting there in the audience at 7:30. The performance starts, and then I noticed that Linda disappears. She was in the choir, but just after 8 she disappeared, and I knew she had to go out and look after the men in the bar area before it was time for them to come on. And of course I'm sitting there, I have no way of knowing whether any men have turned up. I felt that some would. In fact, one of them had messaged me to say he was on his way, Duncan, and I know that Jim said that he was definitely going to be there because he'd bought tickets for his family, but he hadn't told them that what he was going to do. And so I knew those two definitely going to be there, and I knew Paddy was going to be there. Other than that, I wasn't sure. So I just literally had to sit there until the performance started of It's Raining Men, and then a whole gang of guys came in, and most of them had gone bare-chested, which was a request, but it wasn't compulsory. We could have some guys who were a bit more shy, and it was okay to have t-shirts, but most of them went bare-chested. Most of them joined in. It didn't matter either way, but in fact, if we'd had 100 men, Linda and Claire, I don't know where we would have put them. We had a lot. We didn't reach 100, but it didn't matter. We had enough to make a big difference. So it was a whole team effort, spearheaded by Linda, and Claire was busy, and, Paddy. I don't know. There must have been more people, but I don't know all the names of anybody else who was working on it. I hope that people will forgive me if I don't name, other people. I know people were telling people once they knew. It was like dropping a pebble in a pool and watching the ripples. So it was a fantastic community event. More and more people joined in. And somehow, and Hannah, who runs the choir, she said after the interval, she said, I don't know how that happened, but she said, that interval was supposed to be 10 minutes. And it was actually half an hour. I think it was about half an hour. But a lot of people did put money in the bucket to have their pictures taken with the guys, with all these wonderful guys. So there were some guys standing having their pictures taken in front of the box office, and some guys went into the bar and were having pictures done in there, I believe. I was actually filming and taking lots of pictures in the box office area. So it was just amazing. But the whole thing was amazing, you know, not just the men turning up. That was fantastic. And it showed social media being used for social good, as well as, you know, the community coming together, because obviously it wasn't all social media, some of it was word of mouth. But it just shows you when the community work together, when there is collaboration, then good things happen. And the more we can spread that word with people who don't quite get it yet, you know, the me people, once we can convert some of the me people, they will realise that when you work together, great things happen. Hi, Janet. And so that was wonderful. It was, it was the culmination of some good work. The whole concert was a culmination of a lot of fantastic work by a lot of fantastic people. It was an amazing concert. I did my little bit. Because I knit, and I try and knit to any themes that are going on during the week. And because it was, I don't care what the weatherman says, I did my little sunshine. And all my bits of knitting are all going for charity at various things, whether they become prizes for charities or whether people buy them. All these things are available for donations into I'm supporting several different charities. I think this one, if anybody buys this needs to go into the prostate cancer, because I did it around the weatherman theme, you know. So I'm sort of trying to theme some of the stuff for the different charities according to things they're doing. I didn't quite get the umbrellas done, I was looking for a pattern for raindrops. I didn't actually find it, but actually the last song on the programme was Don't Let the Sun, I think it was Don't Let the Sun Go Down on You, wasn't it? Let's just have a quick look there. Yes, the encore was Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me. So I didn't let the sun go down. My sun was shining there. It does keep me amused, keeps me out of mischief. I'm not sure though, it might keep me into mischief. And talking of getting into mischief, my Lilac Lil got into mischief last night. Lilac Lil is my shopping trolley that carries all my goods, but it also acts as a walker for me. So I can't actually go, because I was going to the theatre on the bus and then walking up the drive. I don't walk that well without Lilac Lil, so I take it. But I knew I had to put it somewhere. I couldn't have it beside me in the theatre because that just wouldn't work. So I asked the lovely theatre people, and they put her in a cupboard. And that was fine. But when I went to get her out of the cupboard, the ice cream, they've got a big ice cream fridge, and somebody had pushed the ice cream fridge in without bringing Lilac Lil out. So that posed a little bit of a problem at the end of the performance. But there was a lovely lady there. She said, "Hang on a minute." She said, "Don't panic. I'll go and get some help." And she went and got somebody, and they lifted her up and over the ice cream thing. So that was sorted. But I have to say, most amazing evening. If you live on the island and you haven't heard the Medina Community Choir, you really do need to make a note of when they're next going to perform. And I'm going to give you a date now for your diaries. It's a 2019 date, but it's never too early to get those dates into the diary. And it's going to be the award-winning Medina Community Choir presents A Million Love Songs, and it's going to be on Thursday the 7th of February 2019 at the Medina Theatre. Adults £8, children £6. Put that in your diary. It is so worth it. I had not heard the choir before. I don't know why, because obviously I wasn't getting my act together, but they are an award-winning choir. And Hannah. Hi, Carrie. Hannah, who runs the choir, she was saying that she started that choir off, I can't remember all the dates, but she started it with 6 people. And last night, I think there were nearly 100 people on the stage and singing all these different songs. Let me tell you some of the songs they sang. They sang Africa, Colours of the Wind, Set Fire to the Rain, Both Sides Now, Aquarius, Let the Sun Shine In, Don't Rain on My Parade, I can't stand the rain, stormy weather, shine, skyfall, and then It's Raining Men. That was the first half. I won't go into all the rest, but it was amazing. I enjoyed every single minute of it. And I hope, I haven't got the total of what they raised in the interval for prostate cancer. They were still collecting when I was leaving the theatre. Well, when I say I was leaving the theatre, but then there were shenanigans happened, of course, didn't it? Because normally I live stream at 10, as you know, or as most of you know, and I decided to do a live stream. Hi, David. I decided to do a live stream from the car park outside the theatre. So I live streamed there, got a lot of people came into that broadcast. It was all good fun and whatever. And so I did that, and then I headed off to the bus stop. Linda very kindly had said, did I want a lift into Newport bus station? I said, no, I'll get the bus just outside Medina Theatre. Big mistake. Note to self, at night, always make sure you know the times of the buses. Now, I get the number 9, and usually I'm going from Newport bus station through to Ryde, so I can get either the one that goes up Staplers or the one that goes up Fairlea. Now, I was up Fairlea, so I could only get the Fairlea bus because that's the only one coming. And normally, in the day, they run from Newport bus station every 10 minutes. One goes Staplers way, and then 10 minutes later, one goes Fairlea way. So I thought it would only be about 20 minutes. No, I thought, it's night time. It'll be about half an hour. But boy, was I wrong. I'd obviously not long missed one, or about 10 minutes I'd missed it by, and I think 10 to 15 minutes. And it was an hour. And that took us round to 11:15 when I can't use my bus pass, but also that was a long time to wait for the bus. So my answer to that was to call out to my community and say, was anybody about who fancied helping a damsel in distress get home? And wonderful Gil Adair, my friend, Lisa is my friend, and Gil's husband, and he's my friend too. And he became my knight in shining armour. But even that wasn't without an issue, because his car wasn't parked terribly far away. He lives in Union Street, so I knew that he'd have to probably walk a bit to get the car, but it wasn't terribly far away, so he had to walk to get the car. As he started the car, the petrol light flashed up, and he knew he wasn't going to have enough petrol, so he had to go the wrong way first to Tesco's to get petrol. I mean, I'm perfectly happy sitting in a bus stop knowing that he's going to arrive, and it was a well lit place, and I wasn't bothered about it. I'd got my knitting, I'd got my live stream, and whatever. So he went to get petrol, and then he started to head back towards me. Well, anybody living on the island at the moment will know that every so often up pop all these roadblocks and things, because they suddenly start digging up roads and things, only you're never quite sure where they're going to dig up. And poor Gil, he came across 2 or 3 of them last night trying to get to me. So what actually happened was that the 11:15 bus came along before Gil got to me. So when the bus stopped at the bus stop, because I was there, I didn't put my hand out for it, but he stopped anyway. I said, no, I can't get on the bus. Somebody's coming out to collect me. And so it was a bit of a, it was challenging, but it didn't matter. What is great is that I have a great community, and they help me when I get stuck, or they help me when the community needs to come together. So it's all about, just working together and being friends together and helping each other out. It's the sort of thing, if I saw somebody in distress and I had a vehicle, then I would go and do the same thing. So it's lovely to see that, my knight in shining armour didn't come up on a trusty. His trusty steed was a black car. Can't remember what sort of car he's got. It was a black car. To me, it was just a wonderful vehicle that I could get in and get a lift home. So thank you very much to Gil. I have seen him again today and thanked him again. Very, very much appreciated. And so that was that challenge over. And so tonight, when I was out again, and in fact I've been to dinner with Lisa and Gil tonight, when I was going to come away from them, I said, right, I think I need to check the bus times tonight. So they're only 5 minutes walk from the Ryde bus station, so I checked the times and I made sure that I knew what time buses were going, so that I could get back home. In fact, if there'd been a problem from there, I'd have walked home. But last night, it was rather a long walk from Newport to Ryde, so I just didn't think that was a very great option. So anyway, a bit of an update on the knitting. Today it is World Ocean Day. I didn't know also, I mean, Laura, when I put up my little bit of knitting, so the knitting that I did today, I made a little dolphin. Look, can you see? I made a dolphin, and of course the other day I had made my squid here. That is an order, that one, and so is the. I've got to finish the octopus. I'm going to finish that tomorrow. And those are, or by Monday, these two are going off to a lovely lady in Newport who's ordered those. And she runs the shop. Hi, Dawn. So she's also wants something else. Now, so I'll tell you about that in a minute. So yes, so these things were, because it was World Ocean Day today, or that this one was, and those were in the making anyway. So very appropriate for World Ocean Day. And so as I was on the bus, I tweeted a picture out of my little dolphin, and I had hoped to make a whale today, but I seem to be on a bit of a go slow with the knitting today. It happens sometimes. Usually I'm very fast, but today it was a bit of a go slow, and I'm not going to push myself too hard, otherwise I might have another poorly day. So I know when it's time to slow down, the body says, hey, give it a break. So that's what I did. But I will have to say that wherever I go, I keep leaving trails of wool, not on purpose, and and people keep taking pictures of my little bits of wool that I leave lying around. I try and pick them all up, but when I'm cutting off the ends, when I'm sewing things up, the little bits, they get everywhere. Hi, Roy. And so Lisa she's put a picture up of me, of a little bit of wool that got left behind. The other day, recently I was with my son in Manchester and his fiancée. Hi, Juliet. And I'd been knitting in the garden. I'd done a lot of knitting there in their garden. It was a lovely time. I had a wonderful time up there. And about a week later, my future daughter-in-law put a picture up of my son pointing to one of these little bits of wool that they found in the garden, so where my caravan has rested, where I just leave a trail of bits of wool. But I think I'm forgiven for that one. Hope so. Anyway, the other things, over the weekend, I am going to be knitting some cupcakes. I have got, what have I got here? I have got some cakes. Some of you have seen these before. This is my Bakewell tart. This is a nice meringue. Look, a nice big fat meringue with some cream in the middle. And a piece of Battenberg. What else have I got? Have I got any more cakes there? Oh, yes. I have a donut here. Donut with pink icing. And so those... I was showing to lovely Susie, who's ordered the other, the squid and the octopus are going to. And next week, in her shop, she's having a cupcake day. It's for Age UK, I believe. Sorry, I was just doing a little thing there. Age UK, and it's a fundraiser. I think it's raising funds for... dementia dementia charity, raising funds for getting more awareness. And so these aren't actually cupcakes, of course. So I have found a gorgeous pattern for cupcakes, and so I will be knitting cupcakes over the weekend because she wants to make a window display, and she can sell the cupcakes for the charity as well, as long as people don't try and eat them. Hi, Jenny. So if anybody wants to know, if anybody's around, hi, Jenny, you might be around in Newport on Thursday. Susie at Easy Way is having a cupcake day. I presume there's coffee and cupcakes together. So go to Easy Way I think it's probably going to be from about 10 o'clock. I shall be down there, God willing. And but she wants to make a display in her window on Monday. So by Monday I need to have knitted some cupcakes that she can put in her display. I've also got some things I'm knitting for, probably for another shop's display. And again, everything I do, all the bits I do, people are able to buy them for charity. Some people are giving me orders, as I don't mean giving me marching orders, I mean giving me orders of things they want me to knit. So I have on my to-do list, what have I got? I've got a robin that's part finished. I don't knit the robin on the bus because I have to change the colours. It's 3 different colours of wool at the minute and I have to change it. So it's a bit tricky on the bus. It's bad enough when I knit on the bus because I sometimes get the wool caught round the, I sit where at the front of the bus where there's a rail, and sometimes the wool gets caught over the top of the rail. So I have to, me and my wool. Anyway, not to worry. It's all good fun. I wonder if anybody can guess what this is. If I told you I'm knitting cupcakes, but I knitted this just when I was at Lisa's house, just before I came away. Anybody tell me what you think that is going to be? I'm knitting cupcakes, so it's something to do with cupcakes, but you see if you can. And Lisa, you're not allowed to answer if you're watching in because you know what it is, because you saw the pattern. So I have been doing lots of things out of this lovely 100. This is the book that I had out of the library 10 times, and then they wouldn't let me have it anymore. So lovely Leanne, one of the Leannes who comes in the broadcast. Yes, you're right, Linda. It is a strawberry to go on the top. And actually, look, there's a cupcake there. Whoops, let's find the picture of it in here so that you can see it better. That's a jam tart. Wait a minute, let's have a look. No, that's an octopus. That's a crab. There's so many things in this book. It's gorgeous. And lovely Leanne found it at half its full price. No, it's not a cherry. It's going to be a strawberry. There's a cherry on the Bakewell tart. Look, there's a cherry on there. But this one is going to be a strawberry. And look, whoops. Can you see it's going to be a strawberry on top of a cupcake there? Okay. But I found another wonderful pattern with some even more scrummy looking cupcakes than that, and some of the patterns are downloadable. They're like e-patterns, so when I can buy them they go straight onto my phone, so it's like a Kindle and I can actually read the pattern there from my phone. So I have seen some gorgeous things on there. And also, I don't know, some of you haven't been in the broadcast for a little while or may not have heard that because of all my knitting that I'm doing, lots of people now know me, tag me into all sorts of things that are to do with knitting. The other day somebody tagged me because the Dorset police are looking for little teddy bears that they can give to children when children are taken, when they're looking after children for various reasons, and the children might be scared or frightened or whatever, or unhappy, and a teddy bear is just such a lovely thing. So they're wanting teddy bears. So at some stage I've got to fit in knitting teddy bears, and unfortunately for me I don't have to post those off because my sister lives in Bournemouth, comes over to the island, and I will be able to knit some of those, give them to her, and she can drop them off for me if she is willing, which I'm sure she will be. So there's teddy bears on the list. What else have I got on the list? Oh, my daughter tagged me into some things when mummies and babies get separated for maybe hospital or operation or something, different things, different reasons why they're separated, and you knit a square for the mummy and a square for the baby. And I think that the idea is that it's got mummy's smell on it, that's that sort of thing. I need to look more behind it. I read it quickly at the time, so the principle I know of that, so there's that. Somebody's ordered a little pony. There's all sorts of things coming up. But those people who've been tagging me, somebody tagged me into the county show information, and what they're going to be doing, they're going to be having an horticultural tent. And the idea of the horticultural tent is people who craft, whether it's knitting, crochet, making art forms of different sorts, and there are 3 categories in this, and one of them is Time for Tea. And of course I love knitting food and even cups of tea, which some of you will have already seen this one. So, you know, I thought, well, that was an obvious one. But also there's a category that's in bloom. And so I've got lots of flower patterns and I'm just looking at them all to decide, you know, how much time I've got to do any of these and what this sort of display I want to do. And then the other one is fruit and veg, which also I like knitting, and I've got loads of patterns. So I have been addicted, shall I say, to looking at Pinterest, because Pinterest, I don't know how many of you use Pinterest or know much about Pinterest. If you don't know Pinterest, it's like a whole range of pin boards. And for example, I can I can have my own pin boards and I can name them whatever I like. So supposing I was going to do, let's say, I'll tell you what, a friend and I once, we did a show to raise money, and we did it on a Mary Poppins theme. So let's say we're going to do something with Mary Poppins. So what I would do is go onto Pinterest, type in Mary Poppins, and see what comes up. I might put in Mary Poppins decorations or, you know, all sorts of things, Mary Poppins food or things like that. And all over Pinterest, people have pinned loads and loads and loads of stuff. So I can look and maybe I could find some decorations that would be great for a Mary Poppins theme. And I can take them from that pin board and I can pin them on my own virtual pin board. Basically, it's like a bookmark. So I can find all the things I want and put them on a Mary Poppins board. Well, what I've been doing is finding all over there, finding the knitted food. So I've got a knitted food board. I've got free knitting patterns, because a lot of the patterns out there are free. So I've found a lot of knitting patterns that are free. I've pinned them on a free knitting board. So I think you get the idea. Anybody in here using Pinterest? It is amazing. It's fantastic as a search engine for finding anything of that sort of thing. Or supposing it's not just about craft and that. Supposing you're wanting to decorate a dining room, you could go and find ideas all over Pinterest. Excellent, Juliet. So you're using it well. Yeah. So supposing you're decorating your dining room, you could go and find ideas from all over. Supposing you're planning somebody's wedding, and you know, you can go all over. You can find wedding cakes. You can find wedding dresses. You can find bridesmaids, anything to do with weddings, you can find it. It is an amazing search engine, and I'm not sure if everybody quite understands how it goes, and the absolute, you know, once you get on Pinterest, you will get totally addicted like I did. I spent hours on there sometimes, but again, that's a bit therapeutic for me. So I have found loads of patterns. Now I need time to make them up. So I did find, I found a whole range, yesterday, I think, a whole range of wonderful patterns from a lady, she's done on there. There's a pony, and the person, you know, what do you call them? The person who looks after the pony. You know, a little doll in pony, you know, pony riding gear is what I'm trying to say, I think. Then there's little children in school uniform. Now my grandson starts big school in September, so I think I shall be adding that to my collection and knitting him. And of course I can knit it in the colour of his school uniform. There's something else I'm going to knit. I'm not sure whether I'm going to say it because I don't know if my son's still in here. But there is something else that I'm going to knit for somebody close to him. He probably guessed what it is now. I'm not going to say that one. I'll do it and then I'll show you. And then there are so many different things around the time for, you know, when I was looking up things to do with tea, loads and loads of things for time for tea. So I can't make up my mind which ones to do first. You know, there's wonderful, this pattern, look, I've got a great pattern here. That's a strawberry tea. Can you see? Strawberry tarts and a basket with strawberries in. There's a tea cozy there. I'm not sure whether I should do that or whether I should just do these bits. There are this little one. Look at this little lady. there's a little lady here who's a maid, and there's a tea set there. So, you know, do I do this one? Which ones do I do? There's so much choice. And I've got another pattern here where I've got sandwiches and, you know, bits and pieces, canapes and or little biscuits with, yes, sort of little biscuits with different things on the top there. There's lots and lots of choice. And then for the vegetables and the fruit and vegetables, not quite sure how to do that, whether I just have a big basket of fruit and big basket of vegetables, or whether I actually do it in different designs. And the in bloom stuff, well, do I just make a vase of flowers, or do I make a garden of flowers, or you know, I don't know. Any choice. Hi Lynn. Any ideas, give them to me. There's in here there's a tiny little thing, a little basket of flowers there, so you see in bloom. You can interpret it however you like. If there's anybody here on the watching in from the Isle of Wight who wants to enter, I can put you in touch with the County Show people. I've got the email in and the details in, so that if you want to enter in, I mean, I'm entering it. I'm knitting for charity anyway. You know, I'm really loving it, finding it very therapeutic. So if I'm doing all this knitting, I might as well knit for the show. Because they want a lot of entries, so I thought I'd do that, and then afterwards a lot of what goes into the show will be sold for the different charities. So that's what I'm doing. If you have a particular request, and I know I saw somebody today whose friend wants some stuff and she couldn't remember what it was, so I've got to do a prompt there and say, get your stuff on the list, and I'll work my way down the list. I have a request. I've done one, and earlier in the week I had a request for 10 little sheep. So I will be, if I can't sleep, I shall be counting sheep. So I've got one down and 9 to go. It's pretty amazing when people ask me to do something. I don't create patterns myself on knitting, although I might have to, but it's not something I've done. But the more things I do, there could be a possibility that I might be able to do it. But people are asking me for all sorts of things, but it's amazing how many patterns there are. I was also looking at some of the sites where people have yarn bombed. And I don't know if you know yarn bombing. It's where people suddenly go out and put a whole load of knitted stuff in trees or on lampposts. Or I saw that in Parliament Square they'd done like a for the old the red telephone boxes that we used to have. There's a book and it's called Knit a City, and they've done a cover to go right, a knitted cover, high colour, to go right over a telephone box. So they yarn bomb lots of things, and it's just nice. There's a tunnel under Waterloo Station that you can walk through, and they yarn bombed that. They put a big, it was like it was a spider's web. They made a great big spider's web, and then they had great big knitted things caught in the spider's web, and it's just amazing. These books are books I've had out of the library, and it's just amazing. And so I was reading more about that, so that was lots of fun. So let's see. So we've covered knitting, nattering. I'm nattering all the time, whether it's in bus stops or whether it's in shops. Tomorrow I'm teaching one of the lovely girls. I don't know if she's in here at the moment, but one of the girls I met at one of the bus stops one day, and we got chatting. And funnily enough, I muddled her up with another girl who'd actually met me on the bus and asked me to teach her to knit because she saw me knitting. So in the broadcast, I got myself muddled, and I was talking to one girl thinking I was talking to the other girl. And actually, the girl who hadn't asked to learn to knit now wants to learn to knit. And she's going to have a lesson tomorrow, and she's looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to getting somebody else clicking those needles, and hopefully clicking those needles to do some things for charity as well. So you know, I'm going to start her off on some easy stuff tomorrow, and we're going to do that over coffee, and we're going to do that in Kiva's Cafe. So if anybody wants to come and join us, let me know. And but if anybody else wants to learn to knit, the rule is you buy the coffee and I'll teach you to knit. So you know, so that it all becomes a big community thing. I think that works well. It works okay for me. I think it works for the people I work with, and so. I was going to read a little bit out of my lovely Butterfly Whispers book today. This is a lovely book that's got a different page for each day, and today it was quite interesting because it mentioned the sun in here, and of course, having been to last night's concert where it was based on I don't care what the weatherman says, I thought it was quite appropriate. So it says, 8th of June, all the answers we need are within us. Dig down deep to learn how to solve a problem. When you feel inspired, you feel like you can do anything. Go to a quiet place, dig down deep and get inspiration from anywhere you feel right. You'll be surprised what you find. Think of it this way. Do you think moving the clouds makes the sun shine? No, the sun is always there. The clouds just hide it. What is your sun? And what is hiding it? It's there and we know it is. Let's remove the clouds and shine bright on all our cares and concerns. And so, earlier at the beginning of the week, I wasn't shining quite so bright because I wasn't feeling very well. But hopefully I have been shining brighter at the end of the week with all its challenges. But it doesn't matter. We've got to another Friday night. Another week has whizzed by. I've been and bought a ticket today. I am heading off, not immediately, but I'm heading off in a few weeks to go up and spend time with my grandchildren, and then I'm going with them on holiday. So I'm looking forward to that. But I bought my ticket for one way already because it was on a really bargain offer. And so I couldn't not do it. It would never be cheaper than that. So it was amazing. £16.45 to get from the island all the way up to West London. So that's going into Waterloo and out on another train to West London. And that includes going up the pier. It includes going across on the Fast Cat. Hello Annie. It goes up to Waterloo and out to West London. £16.45 one way. And that's with my senior rail pass. So I think that was not a bad purchase. The other ticket, I will be coming back from somewhere else. I won't be coming back from London because I'm going off on holiday with them. Then I'm coming back from somewhere else. And the advance tickets are not open yet for that. In about a week's time, I can get the other part of the ticket and see if I can get an advance fare on that one. Because it does make such a difference. It's amazing what you can do. And I like to go into Ride Station because I don't like machines and booking engines online. They're so impersonal. They don't get it right. They make you do all the hard work when I can actually just go in and sort of make sure that guy's still got a job, because, I don't want him to be replaced by a machine. I expect eventually they will be replaced by machines, but as long as I can take my business to an actual person who talks to me, customer service, actually speaking to the customer, and helping me find the best deal rather than me having to go on and find the best deal. And so I always go now into Ride Station and ask, and the people in there, guys and girls, really good, very, very helpful, excellent customer service in there. So that's good. So I'm looking forward to my trip there. Because it had been a challenging week, I thought I'd read a little bit out of the Little Book of Resilience, and this appeals to me quite a bit. So it says, once you choose hope, anything's possible. The choice to have a great attitude is something that nobody or no circumstances can take away from you. Oh, that's Zig Ziglar. The first one was a Christopher Reed, once you choose hope, anything's possible. And the second one was Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar being a very famous chap, lots of motivational stuff. I've listened to lots of his YouTube videos and things like that. Loads of motivational stuff from Zig Ziglar. So let's have a look. When the world says give up, hope whispers, try it one more time. And that's an anonymous quote. But let's have a look here. If there is a shield of faith that you can keep up against difficulties, humour is the Teflon coating. And you know what? I've said this before in broadcasts. However difficult and challenging my life has been, I still never managed to lose my sense of humour. Even in the darkest days, I've tried to find that little chink that I can actually find amusing, and it's an amazing, you know, it's really, really helped me. So, you know, if you can do that, if you can find something to laugh about, even in the darkest times, it really does make a difference. I've had to work at it. It doesn't come easy, but, you know, I've had to do that. So this says Let It Out. I haven't actually marked any of the, I've marked one of them. I haven't marked most of these today, so I'm hoping that they're going to be fine. I mean, all these books are lovely, and I get all these lovely little books down in number 66 in Union Street, a great shop with wonderful, wonderful gifts. Not just books, they do all sorts of gifts, and they have the shop oozes a wonderful ambience. If I'm in town and I'm feeling a bit, you know, it's one of the places I go, I know I will be uplifted, because there's such a vibrant feeling, and just, you're greeted so well. The customer service is so great. Even if I go in and don't buy anything, it still get excellent customer service, run by Sue and Jane, twin sisters, so they alternate, you know, so it'll be one or other of them in there, and amazing. And they've been there since they haven't done a year yet. August, I think they started, but they, you know, they have made a difference to the street, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as a lot of other people are concerned. So this is Let It Out. Honour your feelings and recognise that difficult emotions such as anger, depression and loneliness are a natural part of the human experience. Let your emotions out by having a good cry if you need to. Crying can help you to regain your emotional balance, as it relaxes toxins that have built up in the body due to stress. You should find that you feel calmer and less anxious afterwards. Another good way to express your feelings is through a creative outlet, such as painting, blogging, or playing a musical instrument. And I'm just going to add in there, or knitting. Creative activities can reduce stress and help you to process your experiences and feelings. The options for self-expression are endless. Whether you write poems, take photographs, or draw sketches, creative pursuits offer you the space to deal with the range of emotions in a healthy and constructive way. Find something that gives you release. And for me, it is knitting, very much. Loads and loads of knitting I'm doing these days, as you will notice. I was talking to somebody today who I'd given a knitting lesson to. She isn't quite at the stage of being relaxed like me, because at the moment she's finding it very stressful to get the stitches right. But if she pursues, and I said to her, you know, you don't have to do it, but if you do pursue, you will get to a stage when it becomes so easy, because you practice. Like everything, you have to practice, and practice makes perfect. Once she gets to that stage, she will find it therapeutic. But, you know, it might not be for her. Knitting might not be the thing that does it. It might be that we find something else creative. But I know being in the creative space really does make a difference. And I've had to work at it. You know, I haven't always. These days, if somebody gets angry with me, or, you know, gets cross and stressy to me, I deal with that by keeping calm. Now that I've had to really work at, but I have worked at it. Excuse me just a second. It is something you can work on, and it is something you can achieve. I used to be fiery. I would, if somebody was cross with me, I'd get cross with back. Now, I don't see the point of putting up my blood pressure if somebody else is cross. And, you know, I did have somebody recently getting cross with me, very cross with me. And I said, well, you know, I refused to get angry myself, because there was no point. You're not going to achieve anything except being cross with each other. If you can bring it down a bit, and then sort of, you might have to agree to disagree. And that's what I tend to do now. You know, as I say, I haven't always been like that. I was fiery in the past, but having worked at it, you can agree to disagree, and that's what I will do with some people. If I know that we're not going to come, you know, be singing from the same hymn sheet, I've been known several times to say, oh, let's agree to disagree on that one. And that works, you know, it works for me, but it certainly means I don't get my blood pressure up, and I don't see the point of putting my blood pressure up, you know, just to try and win an argument. It's just better to try and, you know, keep it on a level place, and try and resolve it by being calm. So There's a lot of stuff on YouTube. I've done loads and loads of self-development, loads and loads of listening to webinars, listening to TED Talks, lots of TED Talks on YouTube. I don't have a TV license. I don't need a TV license. There's too much rubbish goes on TV. I can find all sorts of wonderful stuff. So you don't see the point of paying to watch a lot of rubbish when you can find a lot of really good stuff over on YouTube. So that's amazing. This is quite a nice one. If we believe that tomorrow will be better, we can bear a hardship today. So I'm going to put that one down. I'm going to pick up always look on the bright side, because this is something I try to do. I don't measure a man's success by how high he climbs, but how high he bounces when he hits the bottom. And that's George, gosh, this is on a yellow. Look, it's white on yellow. Very hard to read. George Patton, I think that says. Let's have a look. Opportunity dances with those who are already on the dance floor. And that's H. Jackson Brown Jr. Some of these I know I've read before, but it's worth reading them again. You can't make an omelette without breaking eggs. And that's an English proverb. Plunge boldly into the thick of life and seize it where you will. It is always interesting. And that's Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Whoops, not sure if I got that quite right. And happiness is not an ideal of reason, but of imagination. Immanuel Kant. And this one appeals to me. It says, you live but once. You might as well be amusing. And that's Coco Chanel. And I do try to be amusing. I do try to keep the sense of humour. I have in the past been criticised for it, but I said, I'm not going to listen. It doesn't matter. It's up to me. If it's to be, it's up to me. And if I want to be amusing, I can be amusing. Nobody else has the right to tell me whether or not I can be amusing. And the same goes for all of us. So sometimes, just take that on board and see, don't put up with people telling you what you must or mustn't do. It's taken me a long time to get to the stage where I say, hang on, that's not okay for you to tell me. It's okay for you to rephrase it and say to me, have you thought about this? Or rephrase it in a different way. But people who tell me I should do this or I shouldn't do that, actually, you don't have the right to do that, So it's okay for us to say that. And I sometimes say to people, can you just rephrase that? And then I'll listen again. Maybe, I don't know, as you get older, you get more like that. I don't know, but that's how it's been for me. And if I can guide anybody to that sort of place, then, that's what I'm willing to do. So, and also never stop dreaming. Never stop dreaming. We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep. That's a William Shakespeare one. Let's see. Right, okay. Oh, this is a Richard Branson one. Do not be embarrassed by your failures. Learn from them and start again. And of course, so many of the leaders, so many of the top entrepreneurs did not get there without failing. They just like Edison and the light bulb. How many times did he find of ways of not doing it until he found the right way to do it? There's loads and loads of stories like that. Don't look at it as a failure. Just look at it as a way of getting nearer to the right way. You can, and these books are marvelous. Dreaming is just thinking with your heart. And live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. And I'm going to finish on an Audrey Hepburn one. Nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible. So if you look at it, it's written like that. I'm possible. I know it's back to front. Not very good. Not very sensible showing you that when it's back to front. So that's rounded off another week. The weeks are going by so fast. We've arrived in June already. My goodness, where did that first part of the year go? I'm delighted to say that my sister-in-law, who had open heart surgery a week and a half ago, is well on the road to recovery. I stayed away because I wasn't very well the other day. I didn't want to risk, taking any nasty germs over there, but I am going to see her over the weekend, and share a little time with her. I don't know whether she's a great knitter too. She doesn't knit toys, she knits baby clothes, and she loves doing that. And I much prefer doing the toys. So we can chat about her knit. I don't know whether she's allowed to knit yet. I know she wasn't allowed to do anything to start with, so we'll see how that goes. So I will be back tomorrow night, all being well. Probably have a break on Sunday night, but I do appreciate you all coming in and sharing time here. I must get on and plan some interviews with some people. There are various people I want to bring onto camera, with interesting stories. Everybody's got an interesting story to tell, but there are certain people that I have I do want to bring on. One of the people that's agreed to do an interview with me is the author of this book, the one I read regularly from Butterfly Whispers, and that is lovely Vanessa. This book was given to me by my hairdresser, who knows and has met Vanessa. And when Vanessa heard me reading out from her book, she was absolutely thrilled to know that I was sharing it on my broadcasts. And so I said to her, would you like to come on a broadcast? And so I've got to arrange that. So I'll arrange some dates of people like that, but also any of you who've got a message to tell. Some of you are supporting charities, some of you are running businesses. You've all got the opportunity to come on broadcast. Come on, I can split the screen and bring you into the broadcast from where you are. And we don't have to be together because the technology is good. We can actually appear side by side on camera, even if we're not in the same place. So if you want to take advantage of that, let me know. I'll make a list and we'll get some dates in the diary for that. So I'm going to love you lots and leave you. Thank you so much for joining me. I do value it. I'm going to say really, really thank you for anybody who helped in any way to get those men to the theatre yesterday for that fundraiser. That was amazing. It was another way of the community coming together and showing what we can do when we work together. So as I say, sharing is caring. So some of you shared the post, some of you, you all worked in different ways. And also, of course, teamwork makes the dream work. So it's coming together as a team, working together. We can achieve so much if we work together. And there's so much more that we need to be achieving. So I'm going to break it there. And we will talk some more very soon. Bye for now.